Realities of renting apartment in Russia. Today I will explain you why it can be very racist. I will explain you the whole process from the contracts, agents and real cost of apartments in Russia and share my real experience as a local Russian person trying to find apartment in Russia. In the last 2 years I've been living in Moscow in rental apartment, and right now I'm in a hunt of new place in my hometown of Vladivostok, together with Misha the comrade, right? In the recent few days, I've been going through hundreds of real apartment listings in our local Vladivostok rental websites. And it is true that renting in Russia can be pretty racist. Majority of apartments owners, they really write in listings that they accept only people with a Russian passport or Slavic looking appearance. Many of apartments owner in Russia, they don't want to deal with foreigners because they need to register a foreigner in this apartment. By Russian law, if you are foreign national, you need to have a temporary registration of address. Also, Russian apartment owners, they don't want their flat to become a migrant hostel, because many migrants workers, they come in from countries and they want to save a lot of money, so they looking for very cheap rental and they usually live all together. So apartment becomes like a migrant's hostel. So can we call it racism? I don't know, but if you are a normal person, if you live normally and pay your rent, you still will find the apartment without any problems. If you're just a normal person from Western countries, for example, your best option would be go to the agency, pay them fees, and they will find a right apartment for you. Because many Russian people, they would not speak any English, so it would be really difficult for you to be in this market as a local. But today I will explain you how it feels to be inside this market as a Russian, from the Russian perspective. Even for Russian people, it can be very, very crazy to find a right apartment, because some real listings that I found is just insane. I will read one of these.
We kindly ask that you do not apply to us if you are seeking assistance in numbers greater than 4 people. We also kindly ask that you do not apply as travelers, with animals, possessed, educationally neglected, problematic children, people with extremely difficult fates and unbearably difficult lives, problematic, conflictual, destructive, prone to lying, those who have lost touch with reality, and self-criticism of their behavior, prior convictions, criminal charges, or those wanted. Smoking and drinking alcohol in the room and apartment are prohibited. In case of violation of these restrictions, a cash deposit of 40,000 rubles will be required, which will not be refunded. In case of early departure, only the deposit will be refunded.
Well, this description is very serious, right? So I was reading through all of these descriptions, and when I see such long description, I'm always like, okay, I don't want to deal with this kind of people. So usually it's not that crazy, of course, it's much shorter. But the human factor is real. I really was happy when I was in Moscow because I had a real good landlord, and it's just very good if I can find another good person. It's just relationship is what that matter here. Because I watch a lot of YouTube, I saw vlogs how to rent apartment in different countries, and I know that in Western countries it may be a bit difficult because you really have to show your real credit scores or like your payment history or CV, blah blah blah, like interview. Like it's a very hard process to even be able to rent a flat. In Russia, I don't think it's that hard, we don't need to show a lot of paperwork. It's just happening more easy. You only sign contract with an agent, and usually person who want to rent a flat, they would pay fee to the agent. Usually it's from 50 to 100% of the apartment's monthly fee. It's very interesting. In Vladivostok, they have a very special feature. One apartment viewing, when you go to see the flat, they will charge you a few dollars just to be sure that you will come, People don't want to waste time, so they charge like 500 rubles or 300 rubles, which is like $5, to be sure that you will come, like to prove that you are real. These rental agents in Russia, they do such a little work because they just come there, opens the door, maybe they will help you to make this basic contract, you know, you sign it and you never see them again. You just pay money to get the keys and that's it. Then they disappear. Then if you have some problems, you have to deal directly to the owner. If you have some problems in your apartment, you never see this agent again, but you have to give them 1 month of rental. Usually contract is 1 year old, but in Vladivostok right now it's very different system. Is that so many apartments they renting only until summer because Vladivostok become such a nice popular travel destinations. Is that so many rentals right now are per day, per week, like very short rentals. And it's very bad for our Vladivostok market because now it's become even more expensive with this rising tourism. Just today I found this flat and I really like it, and they told me like, oh, it's only up until May or June. But in a very low season, they give you a very good price. But I know that if you will start find something in the summer, prices are going to be very insane. So now in winter, January, February, it's a very good month because right now we have lowest price. In Russia, for a long-term rental, they would give you a price without bills. You need to pay extra around 50 to 100 US dollars for electricity, water and heating. If they do it for short rental, usually they would include these bills in the price. In Vladivostok, prices start just from a few hundred US dollars per month, but it's going to be very survival level of apartments, maybe a room or little tiny destroyed flat, you know, like you can find something as cheap as 200 US dollars, which is crazy, but it's going to be very scary. Normal range to rent an apartment in Vladivostok right now would be from 40 to 70,000 rubles. What is the ideal candidate to rent apartment in Russia? I think it would be a married couple around 30 years old, not students, because many Russian owners also don't accept very young people. They only can say like less than 21 years old, not suitable, because student age people look like they're not financially stable and they can destroy flat because they may do a big party or something, like they're just not stable. So they prefer older people, better married, but without kids, because kids can destroy apartment too. So if you are with a small child or a pet or a migrant or look not Slavic, you will have troubles, okay? But if you're like single, boy, girl, not boy, girl, like a middle-aged person and married, you will have best options. Myself, I can understand owners who don't want to rent out apartments with a fresh renovations. And I have a dog. I would be scared to give someone a fresh furniture because they just bought it. They put so many efforts in this, and I can understand. So right now I looking for apartments without very new renovations. It may be old, it can be old, but it needs to be clean. It needs to be without cockroaches, without smells, you know. I looking for specific areas. I want to stay here at Soviet Hills, or I want to move closer to the seaside. Also, I accept these new built areas, but these new built areas in Vladivostok, they look like very typical Moscow areas. It doesn't have vibes. It doesn't have like these different feels that you live in Vladivostok. So I accept renting in very typical Vladivostok panel houses. It's no problem for me. It would be even better to find some Stalin era house which have very thick walls. I know it's very good for soundproofs, whereas modern apartments in Russia, they have very thin walls. It can be without renovations, but it cannot be in very bad condition, something in the middle. And we are on a tight budget, because I explained you guys on my recent video is that I would rather save this money or put this money towards new content, new travelings, visiting different areas, rather than paying a high rent, just throwing money, giving it to paying someone's mortgage. Just now I had a message from the agent that the owner did not accept my offer because they want to rent only up until summer, and I wanted to give them higher price for summer. They rejected it, so the search continues. I will check the website every 5 minutes. So fun story how I found my Moscow flat. I was actually first to go and see this apartment. When this listing just appear, you need to call immediately and go, because apartments with a right price, they disappear very fast, maybe in one day. But the apartments with crazy prices or in crazy conditions, they can stay in the website for a few weeks. In my previous video, when I was speaking about my situation, many people comment me about that I need to stay with my mom for like a long time. But if that would be a good options, I would be not looking for apartment right now. First of all, because now I have Misha and my mom. She didn't make this decision to live with a dog. We feel as a guests here, guys. And second of all, living with parents is not a big fashion in Russia, you know. It just works this way, is that when you are turning 18 years old, your parents say to you, bye-bye, good luck with your adult life, you know. Right now I'm grown-up adult who can earn money, so I used to my independent life. So for our well-being, for our productivity, I think it's better to find our own place with Misha the comrade. In Russia, people mainly live in panel houses, 1, 2 or maximum 3 bedrooms, and don't have this luxury. But it's interesting, guys. I know that this housing situation is different for every country. Every country has their different cultures of staying with parents until like 30 years old, or leaving immediately. I don't know. Write me down below in the comments what you usually do. Do you stay with your parents long time, or you have to go somewhere when you're growing up? I actually want to make a separate video about it, explaining like child parents dynamics in Russia and relationship and how it feels to be raised by Soviet parents. If you interested in this video, you can let me down below in the comments. I will do it. What I strongly realized this day is that your place where you actually live should give you energy and should give you rest. The place where you feel calm, where you can come, you can recharge, you have inspiration, you feel safe. This is what you need to be looking for. If you live in a constant stress, like you need to change your living conditions. So this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a place that will inspire me and will give me new creative ideas too. And maybe we will do many more contents in my new apartment. So this is what I will do. So please guys, wish me luck, and thank you so much guys for clicking on this video. If you want to learn something more about me and watch my previous vlogs, you can always go to my channel and watch my previous videos. And if you want to follow my adventures here in Far East of Russia, please subscribe to my channel down below. And this was me, Lisa the Russian. Please consider to support our channel, and thank you so much guys for staying until the very end. And I will see you in the next one. Bye bye!